Hello humans, I'm the AlienDoctor, but you could call me Alien, and welcome back to another video. At the time of recording, Minecraft Live was just yesterday and they announced so many things. So if you missed the show and want to watch it, then I would highly recommend watching mine and Pinape's live reaction on it. It was streams live on my Twitch channel and is available to watch on my second channel. However, in this video, we are going to be going over everything they announced at Minecraft Live, other than the Minecraft Dungeon stuff, as I haven't actually played it before, so my understanding of it is not the best, and I don't want to spread possibly untrue info because I don't understand as much about the game. So I'll also be going over each topic in the order they announced it, but there will be timestamps in the description and chapters on the playback bar if you aren't interested in a specific bit or just want to watch it in your own order. Overall, it was a jam-packed show. They did announce an absolute ton of stuff. However, when you look at it more closely, it's also updates to things that they've already announced, but we'll get onto that later. For now, let's look at the first things they announced. So starting things off, the first thing they announced was not really good news for most players. However, at the same time, it does make sense why they've done it because they can continue working on the features, and that is the Warden and the Deep Dark and the Skulk sensor being delayed again until 1.19, which we will talk more about later in this video. This is likely so that they can add more features to it and make it more interesting. So in the long term, this is a good decision. And it became more apparent during the show why they did this, but we'll get onto that in a bit. They then went on to talk about both Minecraft Bedrock and Java Edition coming onto Game Pass for PC. For those that don't know what Game Pass is, Xbox Gamepass is effectively Netflix, but instead of movies, it's for games. I'm unsure whether Bedrock was already on Game Pass for Xbox consoles or not, but in this announcement they stated that Java Edition and Bedrock Edition were both coming to Xbox Game Pass for PC. So they kind of branded this like they were actually coming together for a bit. So at the start, the announcement was very misleading, as they seemed to make it like they were combining Bedrock and Java, which was not very good. However, after watching it later, it seems like they were actually just trying to show that you can now play both games like in the same place. So it's sort of like they've got the same launcher, but not really. So I know most of you won't be interested in this next bit, so I'll try to keep it short. But for me and other creators, it was very interesting, because they spoke about marketplace creators and things like that. But more importantly, they basically announced that they had worked with the BlockBench team to create a new plugin to help making entities for Minecraft Bedrock Edition add-ons easier, which is a really nice feature to BlockBench, and just nice to see Bedrock add-ons getting even more attention. This new plugin will basically generate all the files you need to create and animate an entity in-game, making it 10 times easier to do it than if you were just using a non-specialized software like Photoshop or something to create an entity. So yeah, using BlockBench really is the way to go now if you want to create custom entities in at least Minecraft Bedrock Edition. They didn't speak too much about Java Edition for this, so my understanding is that this is only really a thing for Bedrock Edition. So now that we've got all of that stuff out of the way, they then went on to talk about the next Minecraft update. This is probably the thing that most of you are here for and interested in. The next update is going to be the Wild update. On the surface, the Wild update means two things for Mojang. Firstly, as described by Agnes, it sort of means beautiful nature, and secondly, it means scary challenges and adventures. So they then went ahead and showed the Deep Dark, because the Deep Dark is actually getting some changes to how we thought it was going to be implemented last year. And it was at this part of the show that I realized why they had moved the Deep Dark and the Warden to this update, as they showed off some new things in the update. So the Deep Dark will now have ancient cities inside them. These sort of remind me of an ancient civilization city that has been left to ruin and abandoned and that sort of thing. They also said there would be an ancient structure in the middle of the city with something interesting in it. For now, we don't know what that interesting thing is, but earlier in the show they mentioned being able to find unique loot in the Deep Dark, so it could be something to do with that. The addition of these cities to the Deep Dark really looks like it gave the area more life, which, as I say, kind of makes sense, at least to me, why they decided to push the Deep Dark and the Warden and all that sort of thing back to 1.19 instead of releasing it in 1.18. They then went on to talk about the Skulk changes, and it looks like they're adding more blocks to the Skulk family, one of them being the Skulk Catalyst. This is what causes the skulk to spread, so whenever a mob dies near the catalyst, some more skulk blocks will spread. The amount it spreads is based on how much XP the mob will drop, which I find quite interesting. Conveniently, when you mine some of the skulk blocks, you do get back a little bit of XP as well. And in this footage shown, you also get to pick up the XP from the mob you killed, meaning this is sort of an XP farm, like you could maybe get one of these skulk catalysts and put them next like a zombie spawner or something. So next, they went on to speak about some changes to the Warden. And a block that I don't remember hearing about in last year's Minecon was the Shriekers. These seem like blocks that make a loud shriek sound when you make too many sounds. I believe this is to help the Warden find you. So with the limited footage we have, it actually looks like the Shrieker turned into the Warden, or the Warden turned into the Shrieker, depending on how you look at it. Or the Warden is just underneath the floor and sort of climbs up beneath the Shrieker. However, I did not see anything that clarified this in the show. The Warden also has this really cool darkness effect, which is sort of similar to the blindness effect, except for it sort of flashes on and off like the effect, which is just really, really cool. I really like it, and it would look kind of good for like a Halloween sort of map or something. It also seems that the Warden sniffs out the player instead of listening for vibrations like what was shown last year. We don't have any footage of this, however they did speak about this during the event itself. So that was the more scary challenges and adventures part of the update. But then in regards to the beautiful nature part of the update, they're actually going to be doing an overhaul to swamps. So they began to talk about biome diversity and went on to show that they are actually updating the swamp biome as part of this update 1.19. This was a biome that had the option to be voted to have the next update during Minecon Live 2019, but lost to the mountains. So it was nice to see that we are still getting the swamp updated, even if it was not the community's first choice. So they pretty much said that they are doing everything they originally said they were gonna do if it was updated in Minecraft Live 2019. But let's just re-jog our memories on what they actually said was being added, as well as go over anything that they did not say was being added during Minecon 2019. So firstly, they added the boat with a chest. This looks similar to the minecart with a chest, except unlike the minecart with a chest, you can ride in the boat at the same time as the chest being in there, which is something that you can't do in the minecart. They also spoke about a new tree. Unlike last year's azalea tree, this one will include a new wood type. This tree is called the mangrove. Looking at the footage they showed, the wood is currently looking very similar to jungle wood. However, I imagine that will change soon, as this is very much likely work in progress. You then get these proper ghouls. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but you basically can plant these underwater and on land, which is quite nice. This is the first sapling that we are able to plant underwater, and then they will then grow into a mangrove tree. The mangrove tree includes root blocks at the base and then also has vines growing down on the leaves. More proper ghouls will then grow underneath the leaf block. Now, they did speak about how mangrove trees spread in real life to do with the proper ghouls falling off. However, they did not confirm that they were adding this functionality to Minecraft 1.19, so we're unsure if the mangrove trees will actually spread themselves like how they do in real life. In addition to the normal swamp biome being updated, there is also a completely new swamp biome being added called the mangrove swamp. This biome will mostly be full of mangrove trees, and as part of this new biome there will also be a new block called mud. And looking at the footage they showed of the biome's land was almost entirely made up of mud and water with no grass or dirt at all. Alongside this, they also added the mud bricks, which has a different bricky texture from normal stone bricks. One of the nice things about the mud block is it's actually renewable by using a water bottle on a normal dirt block. Hopefully you will be able to automate this using a dispenser. They then showed that you can get the mud block and put it on top of dripstone to turn it into clay, giving us a source of renewable clay, which is really quite nice. Next, they announced a new mob. So they're going to be adding frogs into the game. As you probably expected, they will be available in the swamp biome. That's likely where they'll spawn. They haven't clarified if it will spawn anywhere else or whether it will spawn just in the swamp biome, so we'll have to see on that. Another small mob they added was the tadpoles, which can be picked up in a bucket. So where most mobs have their baby variant as well, tadpoles will most likely be the baby variant for frogs. So the tadpoles will actually grow into frogs that are coloured differently depending on the temperature of the biome that they grow in. So what you could do is get a frog in a bucket and carry it to a different biome and grow it up there, and it would be coloured differently because it grew up in that biome. Alongside frogs, they also added flyflies. They're literally 2 pixels large, and as far as I can tell, their main and only use is frog food. They could kind of be cool to be used in some builds for like ambience kind of, but I'm not really a builder person, so I don't know. And then last but not least, they announced the winner of the mob vote. The mob that was chosen by the community was the LA, which means that we're now able to have non-stackable item sorters in vanilla Minecraft, which is very, very exciting, especially for me being a technical player. The LA will be coming to Minecraft 1.19, the Wild update. But other than a couple of Minecraft dungeon stuff, that concludes everything they announced during Minecraft Live 2021. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like and subscribe today to join the Alien Empire. And also join my Discord if you want to discuss with me or the other members just about Minecraft Live and the things they announced. But other than that, I'll see you in the next video coming soon. Bye!